Welcome back again. Today we're doing another BJC past paper review. Please remember, again, please write the school number once you're doing this examination. Your candidate number is important. Write your initials and your surname. Now, today we're looking at a health science paper. And today's paper is a paper 2 and it is from 2020. All right, please also remember, once you're doing the exam, please read through the instructions carefully and make sure you follow all the directives given by the examiner. Now, going to the first question. It's a diagram shows a specialized human body cell as seen under a microscope. All right, we have structure X, we have structure Y, and part A is asking us to name the specialized cell shown in the diagram and state its function. I want to notice here this irregularly shaped nucleus. So this belongs to a special cell called white blood cells. The specific name here is phagocyte. It's called phagocyte. All right, and just to make a note, it is a part of the white blood cell. So it's white blood cell. All right, so great. Now, the function for this is, for this type of cell, which is the phagocyte will engulf and digest microorganisms. So it's to engulf and digest. All right, as a matter of fact, let me start out by just giving a general function right here. So this is to destroy microorganism or to destroy pathogen, right? So this will kill and destroy. So it's a destroy or fight against diseases. Let's say fight against diseases. Okay, it's a fight against diseases. But I want to tell you how. The fight against diseases, that's a general function. But how it does this is by engulfing. So it engulf by engulfing and digesting. All right, digesting microorganisms, okay? Microorganisms such as bacteria. Okay, so again, it is a fight diseases or the fight against diseases or to protect us from diseases, and the way it does this specific one is to engulf and digest microorganisms such as bacteria. All right, so for part 2 is to name the system in which the cell shown in the digestive system belongs to, and this is the immune system. Okay, all right. So part B here now is to name the parts label X and Y. So let's go back to the diagram to see what X and Y is. And so X here is the cytoplasm and Y is the nucleus. Okay, so cytoplasm and nucleus. And Y here will be the nucleus. Okay. All right, so great. Now it's a state the function of Y, which is the nucleus, and the nucleus here, it controls the cell activities, right? Or the activities of a cell. Okay. The control the activities of the cell. All right. Great. And let's go to part C. It's a part C. It's a fill in the blanks using the correct words from the list below. Each word may be used once or not at all. They could use once or not at all. So here now it said all blank are made up of basic units called cells. So all organisms are made up of basic units called cells. So once you're a living organism, you will contain cells. So this will be organisms. All right, and there said now that the living material inside the cell is called the what? And this is the protoplasm. Okay, so the protoplasm is the living part. I'll go back a little bit more. Okay. The protoplasm. And then here now it said each cell is protected by a blank, which controls what enters and leave it. And so by entering and leave it, to know this is the cell membrane. The cell membrane responds for this. So this is cell membrane. Okay, great. It said which controls what enters and leaves a cell. Again, that's the cell membrane. It's a group of similar cells form a what? And this is a tissue. Remember that cells will form what? Tissue. All right. And then the last part here, it states that several different organs work together to form, okay, a system. So that is cool. Okay, great. All right. So finish with this question. Quite short and easy. All right. For part 2, it said the diagram below represents 3 of the 5 sense organs found in the human body. We have tongue, nose, and ear. And so here it said all sense organs respond to stimuli. Name the stimulus to which the following sense organs are sensitive to. And so the tongue is sensitive to chemical taste. Okay, and that please remember that it's a chemical taste. Okay, this is for chemical taste. All right, and the ear is sensitive to sound vibration. Okay, so that's sound vibration. All right. And part B is a sense organs send electrical impulses to the brain. All right. It's a name the sense organ which is connected to the brain by the following nerves. And once you see auditory, you know auditory is definitely the ear. Okay. And olfactory, this will be the nose. So olfactory will be in the nose. All right, so for part C, it's a name the taste area labeled P on the diagram of the tongue. So let's go back to it. And so P on the tongue, you notice where it is. It's almost to the tip, but it's not on the tip. So this part here is for sweet. All right, a matter of fact, let me label all parts for you real quick. So this part here is for sweet. So the taste spot there will be for sweet, detecting sweet. All right, so let's quickly go back and label them for you real fast. All right, so right here, again, we have the tip of the tongue will be for salty. So I'm going to put a label right there. On the sides, let's label one side, will be for both sides. So this side here is for something, and the back of it will be for another thing as well. All right, so let's do that. All right, so quickly, the tip is for salty. So the tip here is for salty. All right, I'm gonna put it over a little bit for you, and then at the side right here is for sour, and then the back of it will be bitter. Okay. All right, so let me just quickly see if I could shift this over. All right, just quickly shift it over. The salty will be right here. All right, great. So salt is sweet in the middle, sweet right here. All right, and then sour at the sides and bitter at the back. Okay, so just to note that. Let's go down a little bit further to the next question here. It said, the surface of a tongue is covered with tiny projections which make them look rough. What is the name of these tiny projections? And these are called taste buds. Okay, so taste buds. All right, great. It's a list 2 important function of the ear, and the ear is important for hearing and also for balance. And remember, what part of the ear helps us with balance is the semicircular what? Canal. Okay, semicircular canal is important for balance in our ear. All right. For part F, it said the nostril contains mucous membrane lined with tiny ears. It said, what is the name of these tiny hairs, and what is their functions? And so these hair-like projections, they are called cilia. Okay, and the function for cilia is to sweep particles, or dust, for example, dust, pollen, and those stuff, those small particles, out of the nasal passage, okay, or nasal cavity. All right, so that's the function of the cilia that will be found in the nostril. Okay, great. All right, so now we have that. All right, so let's go to our next question. So that is question 2 is out of the way. Question 3, we are halfway there. And so the diagram presents the male reproductive system. All right, so I could just quickly label these for you. And I know we're going to use them. So I could do a quick labeling for you real quick. And here, this is the urinary bladder. So let's put Q as the urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. And R will be the prostate gland. Okay, the prostate gland. And then S will be the urethra. This will be the urethra. Okay. And then X is the cutting of the sperm duct, otherwise called the vas deferens. And so here we say this is a method called the vasectomy. Okay. So this is the vasectomy. All right. So now jump on to the part here. Said name the parts on the diagram labeled Q, R, and S. We already label those. But again, I could just write them in quickly again for you as well. So when you're going through, you know exactly what we're talking about. So Q here is the urinary bladder. All right. R, let's go a little bit fast, is the prostate. I'm going as fast. Prostate gland. And S, as we talk about, that's the urethra. All right, great. Now, for part B, it said two fluids pass through the structure labeled S on the diagram. Take the names of these two fluids. And these two fluids, one is urine and the other one is semen. Semen. Okay, do not say sperm cell because sperm cells are tiny cells that you cannot see. They are mixed in the semen. So semen is a mixture of sperm cells and seminal fluid. Okay, so matter of fact, you know what? I could give what make up urine. So I'm gonna give you what make up urine. So inside of urine, what do we find in urine? We find three main things. We find urea, okay, salts, and water. Okay, so these are the things that make up urine. Again, the answer here is urine though, but I just want to give you some extra information here. Okay, so when you're studying, because remember the questions may not come exactly as they are, right? But they may come similar. Now, semen made up of two things. You may find the sperm cells. Okay, so sperm cells and seminal fluid. Okay, you find the seminal fluid right here. Okay, so the fluid plus sperm cells give you semen. All right. Matter of fact, I could say fluids because fluids are produced from more than one places. All right, from the seminal vesicle, from the prostate gland. All right, and also the Cowper's gland, just to make a note of that. For part C, it said, what is the function of the foreskin on the penis? All right, and the function of the foreskin, right, is really for a protective purpose. Again, most people may argue that it does not have much functions, and that is why in some cultures they circumcise. Okay, but the general purpose for it is to protect. So to protect the head of the penis. All right. And another way you could say this, is also to protect the glands. Okay. So I'm gonna say it a different way here. So to protect the glands also. And the glands, those are the sensitive part in the head of the penis. So we have a lot of nerve endings. So to protect the glands, all right, in the head of the penis. Okay, they really serve a protective function. All right, so part D, it said, why are the testes located outside of the body? And the testes are outside of the body simply because sperm cells are produced at a lower temperature than the body itself, right? So sperm cells are produced, okay, at temperatures lower than the body. Okay. All right. So that's the purpose right there. That's the reason why they're outside of the body, and so they can be cooler than the body itself. So sperms can be produced effectively without being destroyed. And so part E now says state two changes which take place in boys during puberty. And so there are a number of things that can happen to boys during puberty. One is that they can start to grow pubic hair, so growth of pubic hair. So growth of pubic hair. Okay. Another function here could be deeper voice. I'm going to put deeper voice here. So the voice deepen. Okay. The deepening of voice. All right. Another one could be here. You only asked for two, but I'm just trying to give you all of them. You also have the broadening of chest as well. Broadening of chest. And another one here, you also have production of sperm. So I'm going to say sperm production. Okay. The sperm production. All right. So those are the four main things that happen to boys when they reach puberty. Now for F, it said the section labeled X on the diagram showed where a simple medical procedure was performed. What term is used to describe this simple medical procedure? And remember, what that medical procedure is, if you go back to the diagram, is where the vas deferens or the sperm duct was cut, and this is called vasectomy, as we have it up there. So this is vasectomy. All right, so that's vasectomy. All right. Let's go to question number 4. All right, so for question number 4, so the diagrams represent the endocrine glands in the human body. All right, and so we have some labelings here. We have P, Q, S, we have R, and we have T, we have U. So here it said name the endocrine glands labeled R, S, and T. Okay, we don't need to go up further. So R here is the pancreas. All right, so R is the pancreas. All right, and S, which is where S is, yeah, S is on top of the kidneys, so that is the adrenal gland. Okay, so this is the adrenal gland. All right, so adrenal gland. And T is right here. That's a part of a female reproductive system. So that is the ovary. All right, great. And now for part B, it's a complete the table below by writing in the names of the hormones produced by Q, R, and U. Let's go back to see what Q is. So Q here is, okay, right. So right here is the thyroid gland. So I'm just label that. It asks for the hormone. So this is a thyroid gland. I'm just kind of, just a thyroid gland. P here is the pituitary gland. There's a pituitary. All right, so pituitary gland will be found there. All right, let me see if I could do it a better way. All right, it's going to be a little bit in the diagram. All right, so let me do it over here. All right, so this is a pituitary gland. All right, great. So that's the pituitary gland, the thyroid gland. S is the adrenal gland that we already labeled. T is the ovary, and this one is a testis that we didn't label this one. So this is a testis. All right, we already know that T is the ovary, R is the pancreas, and S is the adrenal gland. All right, so now let's go into this now. So the gland here, the hormones produced by Q, which is the thyroid gland, that is thyroxine. All right, and produced by R is insulin. And because insulin produced by the pancreas, okay, and U, it is testosterone. All right, so those are the 3 hormones produced by those 3 glands. All right, so let's now jump into the next part of the question. It said, which letter on the diagram points to the gland that produces the hormone which prepares the body for physical activities? And this hormone that prepares the bodies for physical activities, we're talking about the adrenaline, which is the flight and fright hormone. So that is S, structure S, which is the adrenal gland. Okay, that will be structure S. And it's a letter, so be careful. If you ask for name, please put the name. You ask for letters, please put the letter. Okay, so it asks us for which letter. Please be aware of those little small things. They can cost you in the exam, please. Okay, that determine the difference between the A's and the B's. Now for part D, it's the endocrine glands are called ductless glands. These glands produce hormones. How these hormones get from the glands, where they are produced to the cells they affect, and simply because they travel in the bloodstream. So they are transported in the bloodstream, okay, or in the blood. All right, so transport in the bloodstream or in the blood. All right, great. So part E now, it said what is a function of insulin in the body? And insulin is used to control the amount of sugar in the blood. So by matter of fact, I want to be specific, you actually reduce the amount of sugar in the blood, okay? Reduce the amount of glucose, all right, or sugar in the blood, okay? So generally, you can just say controls the amount of sugar in the blood, okay? So it helps to control the amount of sugar in the blood, but how it does that is to reduce the amount of glucose in the blood, okay? Because insulin converts glucose into glycogen. So I'm going to make a note right here for you, right? So the exact how it controls or reduce glucose is really to convert glucose into glycogen. So so glucose, let's make this a short note right here for you, okay? All right, so convert glucose into glycogen. All right, just a brief notes for you to know this. And so just for you to pay attention to this, okay? So glucose into glycogen, okay? So that's exactly what it does. All right, but again, the general function is to reduce the amount of glucose in the blood or to control glucose in the blood. How it does this is to convert glucose into glycogen. All right, so part 2 is a name the disease that affects people who do not produce an adequate amount of insulin. And this disease is called diabetes. Okay, great. Now let's jump to the next question real quick. For question number 5, and we only have one more question to go. It's a diagram shows 3 types of blood vessels found in the human body. Examine the diagram carefully and answer the questions which follow. Okay, just before jumping to the question, let's label these quickly. The one that's going in, always going towards organs or cells in the body or structures in the body, is always artery. Okay, just to make a note of that. The smaller ones, they are called capillaries. Okay, that's a capillary. And Z here will be vein. All right, so great. All right, so it's a name the blood vessels labeled X, Y, and Z. So we labeled them already. So let's just quickly write them here again. So you see it one more time. So this is artery, and Y in the middle right there, the smaller one. These are capillary. All right, and then Z, which is the one that leaving, it's vein. Okay, and remember that veins will take blood to the heart. Arteries take blood away from the heart. Okay, and capillaries will exchange substances between the cells in the body or the tissues in the body. Okay, and also capillaries connect arteries and veins. Now we said in the table below, use the letter XYZ to indicate the blood vessel which fits each description. And so remember that X is artery, capillary, and vein. And so thick muscular and elastic walls. So this one here is going to be X. The walls of arteries are very thick. 1 cell thick is capillary. So this will be our capillary right here. Okay. So this will be Y. And again, it said use letters. So please make, if it said name, please put the names. If it said letters, put the letters. Please pay attention to those things. Large lumen, which means the space between the blood vessel. And veins have a very large lumen. So this will be Z. Next one here, which is asking us now, blood usually travels at high pressure and arteries carry blood under high pressure. That is X. And contained valves is vein. So this will be Z. Okay, so Z contains valve, which is valve. Veins, so veins contain valves. So V, valves. Please remember that. Okay. All right, so part C now is to name 1 substance which leaves blood vessel Y and goes into the body cells. So what substance will leave the Y and go into the body cells? So in other words, what leave the capillaries into the body cells. So think about what the cells of the body need. And so the cells of the body will need glucose, right? So need glucose, okay? Need glucose. You can also put oxygen. Oxygen is needed by the cells as well for respiration. So I must give you quite a number of them. They only ask for 1. But nevertheless, this is practice and study, so Just let's talk about them. Amino acid is also another one. Okay, so amino acid as well. Of course, and also water could go into the cells as well, coming from the capillaries. Okay, because the cells also need some water. All right, great. So those are the major things that will leave there. We also have minerals and nutrients too. All right, now for part 2 is that the body cells, from the body cells and goes into the blood vessel. And so the major thing that will leave from the cells, which is a waste, it is carbon dioxide. So after respiration take place, then carbon dioxide definitely will go in. Okay. All right. So great. So that's the next question right there. And now we're jumping on to our last question, which is question number 6. Now we said many food products contain labels. Each label gives the nutritional facts for that particular food product. Examine the food label below and answer the question which follow. And here we have pretzels, and it gives us the nutritional facts. You will see on this, you'll see the amount, serving size, which is 45 grams, or it may 1.6 ounces, and they give you 2 pieces. Serving per container is 6. And they give you a number of things about calories from fats, and so on. All right. Let's see what the question is asking us, and we can come back to this and analyze it. And here now it said which food nutrient accounts for the highest amount of grams in this food products. And so let's go back to the amount, the highest in terms of grams here. And so you notice here the top part is talking about calories, right? So let's talk about food in grams. So total fat is 7 grams. Okay. Saturated fat is 3 grams. Trans fat is 0 gram. But the fact that you have a total of 7 grams of fat here. Cholesterol is milligrams, that is smaller than grams. Okay. Sodium is milligrams as well. Fiber is 0 gram. And total carbohydrates right here is 12 grams. So the 12 grams will be our highest. And protein is 5. So 12 grams here. Let me zoom into it so you could see it a little bit. Looking for the total amount of nutrients per gram. Carbohydrate is 12 grams. Okay, so let me just highlight that for you. 12 grams here. Okay, fat is only 7. Protein is 5, and sugar is 2. But total carbohydrates is 12. Okay, so let's go back into that and answer a question. Okay, so carbohydrate is 12. All right, so let's go down to that. And which food nutrient here contain the highest amount of, for the highest amount of grams in the food product is carbohydrates. All right, so total carbohydrates is 12. All right, this is how many pretzels pieces should you find in this package. Let's go back to the top again. And right here, which is giving you a clue, matter of fact, let me point this out. It said serving size is 45 grams or 1.6 ounces, 2 pieces. But it's a serving per container, which means that each container contains 6. So there are 6 pieces in the container. But for each serving, it gives you 2 pieces. So be careful with that. And so here we'll find 6 pieces inside this container. It said if 3 friends bought this container of pretzels and share it equally among themselves, how many pieces will each friend receive? And so to get this is 6 pieces in, and you only have 3 persons. So you're going to say 6 divided by 3, which will give us 2 pieces. Okay. So each person will receive 2 pieces. All right, great. Now, next part of question right here, it said, what will the total number of calories obtained by each friend when he have eaten all his pieces? And let's go back up here now, because the labeling give us all of this. It said now the amount per serving. So the calorie per serving is 130. So, and remember now, it gives us the information for 2 pieces, okay? Okay, so this is 130 calories, okay. So the amount of calories right here will be 130. All right, great. For the next question here now, or part of this question, it said, why would these pretzels not be a healthy snack for a person suffering from hypertension or high blood pressure? And remember what causes high blood pressure or hypertension is a lot of salt intake, primarily because of high salt. Not just only salt, but fat and cholesterol could also affect it as well. So let's go into our thing and see what we have here. We have here looking for fats. We have a high amount of fats. Yep, 7 grams a lot. We have also saturated fat, which is very bad. These saturated fat will be clogging the arteries. All right, a lot of cholesterol, 15 milligrams, whopping 15 milligrams. All right, and cholesterol. Oh wow. Okay, there's no cholesterol. Oh yeah, cholesterol is 15. Fat is 7, and salt is 260 milligrams of sodium. Sodium is found in salt. Wow. So these 3 things are very high. Okay, mercy. This is really bad. All right, so let's put the answer in because it contains high content of. It contains high amount of salts. So salt is a major one, high amount of salt. We can also put fat and cholesterol as well, but salt is a main guy right here, right? Okay, fat and cholesterol. All right. All right, great. Now for this part here, so this snack contains iron. Name the food nutrient to which this belongs to, and iron is a mineral. Okay, so it's a mineral. All right. It's a name the deficiency disease that can be resulted from lack of iron. If you lack in iron, it will lead to anemia. Anemia can be spelled in 2 ways. It's spelled this way, or you can leave the A out of it. So it is ANAEMIA, which is anemia, or you could spell it without the A, which is be this, just in case. All right. But I think your exam goes with the British spelling, so it is be the ANAE. Okay. So anemia is also another way to spell it, which is the American spelling. But your examination for BJC's, it is Cambridge, so you're going to be NAANAE. Okay. All right. And so part E is a proteins. Protein is an important food nutrient in the diet. Explain why the body needs protein and list 1 food source rich in protein. And so protein is needed for growth, development, and repair. Okay. So protein is needed for growth, development, and repair. Okay, so just to make a note of that. All right, so great. And sources good in proteins will include things like fish, generally meat, really. So it could be fish, it could be chicken that we love so much. Okay, chicken or pork. Oh yeah. All right, and also some nuts and grains will contain as well. So I'm putting nuts there because some nuts like peanuts and so on, cashew nuts, they do have some protein in it. But major source of protein will be our meat sources. Okay. And the last part of the question, which is the last question of the paper, which nutrient accounts for approximately 70% of body mass? And this here is water. The water will account for about 70% of our body mass. As a matter of fact, let me give you a quick breakdown of all the things that in our body in terms of these nutrients. So let's start off with water. So water is approximately 64%. Okay, let me put that there. Proteins constitute about 20% of our body mass. Okay, and fats constitute for about 10%. Okay, and then minerals constitute for about 5%. And the last one is carbohydrates. And carbohydrates constitute for about 1%. Okay, and so these are the percentage that constitute our body, and this is where we end today. Again, I'm very happy for you to be here. So see you next time for another review. Take care of yourself and be safe. Do well on the examination as well.